what's up guys, this is Will, the Wangzilla channel, and it's kind of a little bit of a maintenance thing here. No fun installs or anything like that. I did my Borla ATAK exhaust install. It's been about 2 weeks or so. This car sounds awesome. Love how it sounds, zero drone when I'm driving. I mean, you could rip it. It sounds great, but if you're cruising, it's mild, not annoying, so I can drive. And it doesn't feel like I'm at a concert or anything crazy like that. So yeah, zero complaints with the exhaust, but I did have a check engine light come on driving it a few days ago, and it seems like this is a common issue with the post install of the exhaust. And so when we get underneath the car, take a quick look and just kind of retighten all the clamps now that it's had a number of heat cycles through it, and hopefully resolve the issue. And it's nothing where I have to actually pull anything back off and reconnect it or replace the gasket or anything like that. So that's what I'm gonna do here. And yeah, go ahead and grab this here and we'll take a look. I've had a few people ask me about my ramps over here, which are right here. And you can see these are the 80-inch race ramps. And the cool thing about these ramps is you get on the ramp and then this part slides right out, and then you can get underneath the car here and it's not going to be in the way. So happy with the race ramps, zero issues with these, and they work quite well. I'm gonna go ahead and get under here. I'm gonna go ahead and just tighten everything further, and I'll then start the car up and see if I can hear anything. I know I can also spray some soapy water on the connections, so I may do that as well. Or another trick people do is they actually hook up a shop vac and have it blow to the tailpipe, blow air through here, and then they can check without having the exhaust run. I may do that if I don't resolve the issue with my initial pass. Once I get everything retightened, I'm gonna disconnect the battery, reset the check engine light, and then I'll check over the next few weeks and see if the issue returns or not. So I'll go ahead and get my comfy mat, get it laid down under here, and go ahead and look at these connections. Still tightening these down. I pretty much had to tighten everything down, so keep that in mind when you are installing your exhaust. Make sure you do give it a number of heat cycles and then do some repasses on tightening all the bolts for all of the clamps. And my worry area is, and I guess this is a note to everybody who watched my exhaust install video, is this clamp here between the primary cat and the AWE link pipe actually is supposed to be a 2 3/8 inch clamp. I have a 2.5. I did not find out it was a 2 3/8 until I did find the AWE link pipe secondary cat delete install instructions. I still have room to tighten it, but if I do end up having additional exhaust leak issues, this will be the first place I check, as well as the other side there. I'm not sure, you know, how good that connection is, but I did find pretty much I could tighten everything here a couple turns additionally of what I had. Also to note, for anybody who does a cat back or axle back install that I had some minor issues with, is right here where you see this almost like shielding right here, and then you see the NPP valve actuator. I did have some, it was barely touching it, I guess right when you would start up and rev it up, of course the tailpipes would vibrate a little bit and they would nick on these metal shield. I kind of ugly kind of bent it. The best bet would be to think about this, maybe bend it down a little bit before you do the install of the exhaust tips. I don't think it's hitting anymore, but I have to keep an eye on this, and I do want to maybe clean that up eventually. Same thing on this side. And really, you know, nothing crazy. I just had to give it a little extra flex away from the valve actuator so that it wasn't making contact. And it really only did very, you know, right when you just would hammer it, that initial big vibration, and that would be the issue, is nicking that plate. So keep that in mind. Anyways, I'm going to finish tightening the last couple of bolts I have left here, and then I will see if hopefully the sound has gone away or not. But before that, as a little bonus, I am going to empty out my catch can, my Elite Engineering catch can. You can see the video at the top, and we'll see if we have anything that we've actually caught. So stay tuned for that, and let me finish this up here. I have all the clamps tightened down, and now I've circled back over to doing the catch can, just to drain that out and see if I've captured any contaminants or oil or anything like that, and I guess really to gauge how efficient or useful this catch can is. It's been about, I want to say 700 or 800 miles. I wrote down how many miles I installed it at, and of course, right when I need it, I cannot find what I wrote down. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and just double check over the lines, make sure everything still looks tight. Go ahead and drain the catch can. This is the Elite Engineering Ultra. You can check out my video for that, but you can see down there, maybe kind of hidden back there. Of course, now my coffee is in the way, but right down there is the drain hose. It's a clear hose, so you can actually see what comes out of it. I have a little clear water bottle. I'm gonna go ahead and wedge it down there, put the hose in there, and then I'm gonna open up the little valve that's on the side next to where the drain hose is and see what we get. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the camera set up so I can actually see what's going on, and then we'll take a look. Hopefully it's captured something, and that would confirm that I have installed it correctly. So that is. As you can see, I have the bottle kind of wedged in here. It's kind of awkward. I wish this little tube that they attach with it was a little bit bigger. I mean, I could always add my own, but it's in there. Hopefully it's at a good of enough angle for the things to run into the bottle. I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can kind of wedge this thing here, maybe, so you can see what I'm doing. Yeah, not really easy to get an angle here. Yeah, I guess that might work. I'm gonna go ahead and open the valve. Let's see if I can find it. Okay, here we go. I'm trying to figure out which way to rotate it. All right, I was finally able to get it open, and you can see some oil and whatnot coming out of the hose here. The hose is kind of bent a little bit, so it's not helping. And not a ton. I'm gonna let it drain for another few seconds. And I'll go ahead and close the valve here. There we go. And I'll get the bottle out. And just wipe everything up just in case I spilled anything. Looks like a little bit did come out and spill, but you can see here that and there we go. Let's see what we got. All right, there we go. So I mean, there's definitely captured some water oily residue, and that's, you know, anywhere between 500 and 700 miles, I think. So imagine 3,000 miles. I mean, it might be a good amount. So yeah, that captured About what I expected with how many miles are on there. It is a little tricky to get that little valve over, especially on the front mount, because it is kind of, you have to torque your hand sideways, but hopefully you can see what I was trying to do here and see it capture this oil. And yeah, so catch can, I want to say, is a success for you know, what I was aiming for, to keep this, you know, out of the intake, out of the you know, off the valves and whatnot. And it looks like it is working. So yeah, I would say that is a success. And really the best bet will be about 5,000 miles or so. We'll see what I got, and then I will save this bottle and I'll just keep adding to it so I can get a running total. And eventually I'll pull this lid back off, take a look underneath, and see how it looks compared to when I first took it off to do the install. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and start the car up. After I clear the codes, I'm going to actually pull the battery for a few minutes, clear the code. For anyone who may not know, with the 6th gen Camaro, the battery is in the trunk. Weight distribution and whatnot, you know, a little bit better to have the battery over your rear wheels and instead of up front, giving you more front weight. And to access it, you just got to remove this little panel here. It sits right here, kind of just pops out, and then your negative terminal is the one closest that you can see, and it is a I believe a 9, or not, actually a 10 millimeter. And you go ahead and you don't want to do this one, you want to do the one on the right side, and you can just loosen it up and go ahead and pull the terminal off. Check for any kind of corrosion or anything of that nature, and then just leave it to the side. I'm going to let this thing sit off for about 15 minutes, give it a good reset. I meant to do it anyways after my install, because it's always good to let your computer kind of relearn your driving conditions and, you know, your air intake, outtake, and whatnot, plus minus, you know, a little bit, something like an exhaust or a small intake. So I'm gonna go ahead and let it sit, swing back here, I'll hook it back up, we'll start it up, and then I'll make sure the check engine light has cleared. I do have a back in the car, and I just reconnected the battery, and so this will be the first time I start it up after I hook everything up. So we'll see if I have any obvious leaks. It looked like I had 2,568 miles on the car. Ooh. All right, let's come on. First time I start these things up, it always doesn't want to start up. Nice and loud. Open and close driver window. So yes, when you reconnect the battery, you're going to want to go through the little process here. So open and close. All right, thank you for the info here. I'm going to open and close the passenger window, and this is so that it maintains the auto down, auto up functionality, which it does. And we'll go ahead and hop out and see if yeah, if I can see anything obvious. I did bring a nice flashlight. Yeah, I'm still on the ramps. My biggest fear with the ramps is to roll off of the ramps or forget to put the ramp back in place, and then I roll forward and crash my car. So kind of a weird fear, but hey, you never know. So take a look underneath it. I do have some water dripping there, so I'm not sure if that's telling me that I have a leak there or not. I'm thinking I still may be having issues with that spot right there. So, see anywhere else? No, so I think that spot there is still leaking. So I'm gonna pull that clamp completely off, and then we'll take a look at it. All right, I'm actually on my phone now. My GoPro has died, but so I loosened up the clamps, and I slightly repositioned the secondary cat delete pipe, this one right here on the driver's side, to center it a little bit better. It was a little bit too forward, maybe, and I actually added some of the exhaust sealant right where the actual pipe has the seam in it that is clamped down, and then I reclamped everything down there. Maybe this will help. This clamp is supposed to be 2 3/8 inch. I'm not sure where to find that. I've Googled around. I can't. It's either 2 1/4, 2 1/2. So AWE has it linked on their install guide for the secondary cat delete pipes, but I didn't see where they actually offered that specific clamp. So I'm gonna try to use the 2 1/2 and see if I have more problems. I retighten everything up. The sealant's not dry, but I do need to get the car off the ramps and back in my garage. So I'll put it back in the garage, let this dry overnight. Maybe it'll give me a little added leak protection. But yeah, so that's where we're at now. I'm gonna go ahead. Next day, once again, and yeah, I was messing with the exhaust some more, hoping that the leak is at least mitigated for now. So we'll see. Check engine lights off. And the valve closed as it should. You don't see anything dripping, so yeah, I'm gonna head to the gym. I guess I'll do a little driving video, and then I will call this a at least temporary fix. And the big thing, you don't want to check engine light because you can't remote start, and I like to remote start when I can. So car sounds good. So I'll go ahead and move over to my seat-mounted headrest cam setup right here. I'm going to do some adjustments with that, drive into the gym, and then yeah, we'll just give it a good run through and see how it holds up. Yeah, just a quick cruise on over to the gym. Probably cut most of it out, but just trying to let the exhaust sealant and whatnot kind of cure, and just to let the ECU relearn after I disconnected the negative battery. So I'm in sport mode now, which is usually mostly with the valves opened up, though it does, I believe, partially close at cruise, and I guess track does it a little bit less. And then I guess if you remove the fuse and whatnot, then you actually keep the valves open permanently. But I do like the adjustability, and the car does sound good even in sport mode and track mode. And so yeah, so anyways, it's getting kind of dark. It's almost 6 o'clock, so we'll just see how it sounds. Flip it to track mode. I could hear people talk easily, you know, sitting next to me if needed. And it's pretty quiet, no drone, which is really the most important thing for me, because I had a car that droned horrifically bad, and going on a trip more than about 30 minutes was like leaving a concert with your ears just pounding. Exhaust was pretty good for a stock exhaust, but man, this thing just magnified. I couldn't imagine putting some headers on this thing, because it'd probably be at an insane level. So I'm gonna wrap this video up. It's kind of a, you know, rambling, sorry about that, and not overly exciting. Just did some catch can oil check, a little exhaust leak investigation. I still think it's probably leaking a little bit. I'm not going to really worry about it if it's just a, you know, a tiny fragment. As long as my check engine light can last 2, 3, 4 weeks maybe at a time, and I'll just reset it each time. And I guess when I do go headers in, you know, a year or two, I'll probably have a, you know, exhaust shop or somebody put it up on a lift, and they can just go over all the connections. I mean, I did use exhaust sealant, and it still leaks a tiny little bit. So, I mean, just the way these pipes connect, I don't see how it can be a perfect 100% connection, especially doing it on the ground on some ramps where I have zero movement. On a lift, maybe I can be a little bit more precise, but, you know, one of those trade-offs you're gonna have to live with. But yeah, so I'll wrap it up. And yeah, feel free to swing by the channel, check out some other videos. I do plan on doing the rear cradle lockout and the rear cradle front brace install maybe next week, and I have a ton of other stuff to do on the other vehicles, so hopefully I'll get those recorded. And as always, feel free to subscribe and leave a comment. Let me know what else you would like to see. If you have any suggestions, or you tell me something stupid that I've done or incorrect, and I will try to make sure I do it the right way. So I'm learning, I guess, along the way, and just trying to share the journey. So anyways, have a good one. Peace.